Am I the a-hole for telling my son he owes nothing to his new family? My 50 male ex-wife, Jane, 38 female, and I divorced 3 years ago. We have a 14-year-old son. My ex-wife recently remarried to a guy named Anthony. Anthony has a 12-year-old son. My son has expressed two major problems with this guy and his son. One is that Anthony and Jane want my son and his son to share a room so they can bond. The house has 5 bedrooms. I should know because she took it in the divorce. Lol. 2 is that they want my son to turn all of his gaming consoles into family consoles. He has a PS5, an Xbox One, a Switch, and a gaming PC. I told my son that number 2 can easily be solved, as I offered to buy Anthony's son all of the same things that my son has, or the cash equivalent in case he has no interest. But Anthony and Jane refused. My son and Anthony's son also asked if they could have separate rooms, as there are 3 unoccupied rooms, and Anthony and Jane said that brothers should spend time together, and that you have to work through a tough situation. There's no easy way out. I told my son that this is BS, as there is a solution that would easily solve all of these problems, and that he owes them nothing. Yesterday, I got an angry call from Jane, saying that I'm exhibiting a white savior complex. Everyone involved is white, so I don't know how that pertains to this. By offering to buy new stuff, and that the poison lies I'm feeding my son are ruining her new marriage. She also said that my son needs to be brother to Anthony's son, to which I replied that forcing a relationship will only cause resentment. She called me an a-hole and out of touch, but I don't see how I'm the villain here. So, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I was forced to share a room with my stepsister after meeting her once. She stole from me, was constantly on her laptop at night so I could never sleep, and when she was nice, we still didn't bond much. It wasn't until adulthood, when we weren't living together, that we started to get close, and she took me to do things I've never done before. It's kinda crazy that he should be forced to share all of his consoles with someone against his will when they were bought for him. It was also kinda cool that you offered to buy the other kid the same thing. Also, at 14, guys need a little more privacy, and I'm sure even a 12-year-old wants his own privacy. They should just take them to events together or take them to arcades together to have them bond. Why would 2 teenage boys need privacy in their bedrooms? Everything about the wife's behavior is going to push the son away and cause major resentment all around. You cannot force anyone to bond, especially not by mistreating them into it. Not the a-hole. Yeah, I feel bad for both boys here. The mom is basically setting up a situation where they will both resent each other. If you want 2 kids to never bond, this plan is an excellent way to accomplish that. Not the a-hole. Your ex and her new husband sure are, though. Your son shouldn't be forced to share a room when there are plenty available, nor give up his things to appease the adults in the house. Not sure your custody situation, but this is definitely something that should be brought up. Exactly. Not the a-hole. Your ex and new partner are so close-minded. The boys can still bond while having separate rooms. Their forcing will only cause them to hate the other. Not the a-hole. Your ex sounds nuts, and is humiliating your son by forcing 2 new people in his life, and by having to live in another man's house that used to be his house. File for sole custody citing emotional abuse. My son doesn't want me to file for sole custody, as he is afraid that would permanently cut off his relationship with his mother. He just wants her to understand his needs. Maybe majority custody then? Yeah, I think I'm going to talk to him about the fact that his mom is too enamored with her new husband to put his needs first. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for blowing up after I found out my husband dropped our daughter off at my cousin's practice? I, female 33, work long stressful hours. I'm a nurse with a busy work schedule due to lack of staff and working in a very demanding unit. I have a 1-year-old daughter. My husband and I take turns to take care of her. He manages well, but he always says that he does everything from Sunday to Tuesday, while I handle everything from Wednesday to Friday. Then we do it together. My husband works 3 days a week on routine shifts. Unlike me, sometimes I don't get enough sleep. Last week was so busy in the unit I work in. I had an unexpected 16-hour shift on Thursday. I realized it's my turn to take care of our daughter. I I was counting on going home early, but with 16 hours, I needed someone to watch her. I asked my husband to take the day and watch her, and he said okay, and told me not to worry at all. He'd stay home all day, no problem, even though he had a meeting with his friend group for lunch. At 2 p.m., I got a call from my older cousin, who I consider a sister to me, telling me my husband dropped our daughter off at the dental practice my cousin works in at 10 a.m. to go see his friends and hasn't got back. She told me to either call him to come get her or I needed to come myself since she was too busy with work. I was livid. I called him, but he didn't answer. I immediately called my mom to go pick my daughter up because I couldn't leave the hospital. My husband didn't return my calls, only texted me saying he was at home all day with our daughter, till he found out our daughter was at my mom's place. I argued with him on the phone, and he then brought her home. After I arrived home, I lost it and yelled at him for lying. I called him unreasonable for prioritizing his friends over his daughter. He argued, pointing out it wasn't true, and I was being unfair since it wasn't his day off the week but was being supportive of me and didn't want me to be stressed out. Said that I shouldn't feel upset since I got to go to my shift whether he watched our daughter or had someone else do it. I told him my cousin was upset, but too nice to say anything about what he did. He kept saying I overreacted and was yelling for no reason since our daughter was with family anyway. The argument got worse. He apologized, but still thought I overreacted and was being upset for no reason. He simply asked my cousin to babysit since we did the family a few favors in the past. Not day haul. Being a parent isn't only associated with your days, and being a good partner isn't either. The fact that he also didn't try to go get your daughter when he got done with his 4-hour lunch and lied to you about makes it all more infuriating. Who the hell has a 4-hour lunch? Someone who's screwing their side chick on their lunch. Your cousin didn't sign up to babysit. She was working. And the fact that he thinks it's not only okay to do that, but also to then proceed to have a 4+ hour lunch is freaking terrifying. Definitely not day haul. Not day haul. He lied to you repeatedly until busted. Do you believe him when he tells you where he was? That was my first thought. He has such a rigid childcare schedule to make sure he has dedicated side piece time too. I don't know anyone who would dump their kids off and lie about it for a friend's lunch. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for yelling at my husband after he told me to sleep on the bed you ruined? My husband, male 32, and I, female 26, both work. We used to work together on chores and cooking. But recently, he has been doing pretty much nothing. Note, I'm pregnant and I feel sick all the time. Despite that, I do all I can. He lost his pet, Bird, 2 months ago, and that's when he stopped doing anything in the apartment. I understand his grieving, but I started thinking he's using the line "I'm grieving" to skip chores. He works 3 days a week. I work long hours, nurse, and every time I come home to take care of everything. I kept my mouth shut thinking he's depressed and in grief, but he goes out with friends, laughs on social media, plays board games, and watches Netflix nightly, and is relaxed to the fullest. Last night, I came home at 9 p.m. He already had dinner and left dishes in the sink. I cleaned up, ate dinner, and went to bed. He was already asleep when I walked in. The conflict started when I saw that my side of the bed was wet. I woke him up to ask him about the huge stain on my side of bed. He told me he spilled milk while he was watching YouTube on my side of bed and forgot to clean it up. I was stunned. I yelled at him asking if he was serious when he said he'd clean it up tomorrow and told me to sleep on it. I blew up and I started calling him inconsiderate and, quite frankly, a user since he keeps arguing that I'm cruel for not leaving him alone to grieve his beloved. I told him he didn't care that much about his pet since he's having fun and playing games. He looked at me shocked, asked if I was done with my lecture, then said he couldn't believe I questioned his love for his pet, then went outside. We pretty much haven't talked since then. I slept on the mattress on the floor since the bed soaked the milk stain. He took the sheets to clean them up, and I felt guilty for what I said to him. He seems hurt and acts as if he is shocked by what I said. Now for the top comments. Not day haul. Run. I feel like he's just using it as an excuse to not do stuff. I lost my pet bird a few weeks ago and was back to functioning the next day. I might just be insensitive though, so I don't want to gatekeep grieving. Not Dayhall. Your husband is just searching for an excuse to exploit your kindness. You are a pregnant, hardworking woman. He is a lazy leech with no remorse. Exactly. Not Dayhall. If he is able to go out, he is able to do chores. He is taking it too far and is definitely using it as an excuse. If the spilled milk was no big deal, he should have slept on it. He is not working as much as you. He needs to start pulling his weight. Not Dayhall. This is an indication of how much he's going to help you when baby arrives. You're exhausted now at working on the front line in a pandemic whilst pregnant. Any normal man would be telling you to put your feet up when you come home, and doing as much as possible, especially when he only works 3 days a week. Please look after yourself and tell him you and the little one need his help at the moment. And if he is struggling with the grief of his pet still, he should see a therapist. He really is milking it. We lost our pet dog 2 months ago, and he was a big part of our family. He was especially attached to me and our middle child. We still miss him terribly, and the kids talk about him all the time. But we still go to work and look after our house. Please take it easier and don't let him guilt you, as you already have so much on your plate. Sending you internet hugs if you would like them. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for getting upset and grounding my daughter after she brought up my girlfriend's miscarriage? I, 43 male, have 3 children. 17 female, 14 female, and 12 male. 7 years ago, my beautiful wife, Elena, passed away. I don't even know how to express this through words. But she was my life, and every day I'm devastated by the loss. Back in December of 2019, I met a woman through church. She's sweet, funny, and it was a mutual attraction. We've been seeing each other throughout 2020, and recently, I introduced her to my children. We've been taking it slow, making it clear that she's not a replacement for their mother, that they don't have to like her, but they do have to respect her. My children, to be clear, did go to therapy, but we are looking for a new one for my oldest daughter. I've always spent every single free moment of my time with my children, even when I started dating again. I made it clear that I know they're still mourning, and that's okay. As it was, my girlfriend came over to stay for a few days. Everything went, well, I could say. My younger children are fond of her. My oldest doesn't particularly like her, but we're taking it slow and not forcing anything on her. My girlfriend suffered a miscarriage several years ago and is still deeply affected by it. We had a conversation on it during one of the nights, and I guess my daughter overheard it. During dinner, we were talking and the conversation went to what my son was almost named, and my daughter looked at my girlfriend and said, "What were you gonna name your dead baby?" It was terrible. My girlfriend, obviously, got upset and left the room. I asked my daughter why she'd ask such a thing, and she just shrugged and said that she didn't see the big deal. I told her that it was an awful thing to say to someone and sent her and her siblings up to their rooms and then went to talk to my girlfriend. She was crying and inconsolable and left to go back to her apartment. I went back and talked to my daughter. She did not show remorse and simply said that she didn't see the big deal in what she'd said. I told her that my girlfriend was upset and that while I understood that she was still mourning, that didn't make what she said okay. I told her that she was grounded for 2 weeks, no electronics. She got angry, but just wanted to be left alone, so I did. Next thing I know, I get a call from Elena's mother, who told me that I shouldn't have grounded my daughter because she was still adjusting to having another mother figure in her life, and that I shouldn't punish her for just being upset. She admitted that what my daughter said was wrong, but also said that I was squashing my daughter's feelings and being angry for no reason. I guess I can see both sides. But on one hand, I feel like I'm betraying my daughter, and on the other, I feel like I'm betraying my girlfriend and I need unbiased opinions. Edited, I apologize for forgetting. My girlfriend is 36 years old. Not Dayhall. Your daughter is 17, old enough to realize that bringing up sensitive and painful topics is not expressing her feelings. She knows she said a cruel thing, likely with the intent to drive away your new girlfriend. She's not showing remorse because hurting her was almost certainly her actual intent. Not Dayhall. She's clearly lying. She knows exactly what's wrong with what she asked. These aren't little kids. They're teenagers. And what you've described sounds like a cold, calculated move designed to upset your girlfriend. She's old enough to know that eavesdropping is wrong, that questioning people about deeply personal stuff, like a miscarriage, is wrong, and sharing someone else's secrets publicly is wrong. Exactly. Opie's not punishing his daughter for having feelings. Opie's punishing her for being deliberately cruel. Not Dayhall. She's been grieving for 7 years. She doesn't get to use that as an excuse to be a horrible person. She needs to learn this now. Also, how did Elena's mom find out if your daughter isn't supposed to be using electronics? Ooh, good catch. One of the siblings helped, or she's got a hidden device somewhere.